Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining. First of all, I would like to thank Matthew sir for providing me this platform for conducting the webinar. I'm going to present my screen right now. I hope it is visible to everyone. Please reply.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Okay. So, dear educators, I must introduce myself. I'm Ravinder Kaur, former PGT, and right now I'm working with Sagar Public School teaching classes 10th and 11th. And I'm here joined with the AIF also as a master trainer. So today's webinar I have kept for how to teach poetry. But I know those who are with me, they are already doing it. So let us discuss and learn from each other. That will be much better than I will be speaking all the time. I hope you will all answer quickly. Please go on responding.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am. So here we have our first slide, that is a guide for senior classrooms, how to teach poetry. Yes. So first of all, let us understand what is poetry, right? I would like to ask from you people, because you people are, I think, mostly teaching English only in this group. And how are you going to express what is a piece of poetry for you? I would like the answer, dear educators, from you.
Ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are.
Yeah. Poetry actually it means it's a literary work to express our feelings, thoughts, ideas, uh, using some figurative speech
Yes.
to make it like entertaining, lively, to
Rhyming, entertaining.
bring the senses. So this is what I think the poetry.
Yes, exactly, ma'am, exactly. So this is very, very important for us first to know what is poetry. Then only we'll be able to do the justice by teaching it properly, isn't it? So we can say poetry is the art of using words in a way that will make an image come alive. If you are expressing the thought of the poet in such a manner that the image is created in the brain of the students, then you are going to be very successful. Otherwise, it is not successful, right? As the poem expresses feelings, both good and bad. We come to know about different types of poems, and they express different views, different thoughts, different emotions. So it is very much important to make the students have that image in their minds, in their brains, before we go on to the teaching of poetry. A great poem can make you see. This is what the art of poetry is, that it can make you see, hear, smell, taste, and touch the things the poet is writing about, isn't it? Yes. So let us understand what does Wordsworth definition of poetry. Because if we are not discussing Wordsworth, Pragya, I would like you to mute yourself. Please mute yourself. Yes. According to Wordsworth, spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings. Spontaneous, continuous. The poetry, a piece of art which shows the powerful feelings of the the nature of poetry. Poetry is a matter of feeling and mood. It flows. Pragya ma'am, please mute yourself. Yes, thank you. Poetry is a matter of feeling and mood. It flows from the eternal feelings of the poet. When strongly the poet is feeling, then he writes whatever he is feeling inside himself. When the poet is in the poetic mood, he sings out raptures as sorrow spontaneously from the core of his heart, isn't it? Some poems, when we are reading, they just touch our hearts. That is when we are successful in teaching the poems, when the same feeling is uh, felt by the students, they are also feeling moved by reading the piece of art. And in a poetic mood, poetry flows out naturally from poet's heart. In such moments, his language of discourse becomes the language political inspiration, isn't it? Don't you people agree with me? Yes, because we are all dealing with poetry every day. Poetry cannot be composed under duress, means any restriction. It cannot be controlled that you should write this, you should not write this, nothing. As soon as the thoughts are coming, the poet is expressing. The clear spring of poetry must flow freely and spontaneously. It cannot be made to flow through artificially laid pipes, nothing. It has to be natural. Okay, dear educators, now we are going to see how to teach. Okay, now in this presentation, we will explore the beauty and depth of poetry and learn how to analyze and appreciate different forms of poetic expressions. And poetic expression we have to understand. Get ready to embark on a journey of creativity and imagination. Now I am going to give you some work to you people. So can you see this poem, everybody? Those who are present here, please
Yes, ma'am.
unmute
Yes,
yourself
ma'am.
and speak. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So title of the poem is
Scared.
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 Yes. Very good. Okay. Now you see this next poem. Title is
Daffodils.
Daffodils.
Yes. So as how we will be, teaching the poetry, it is said that let us not paraphrase anything. Okay. So let us first ask the students what do they see in the poem, or what is the title first. Let us do the title first. So as soon as we read the title, we get that feeling that something is going to scare us. Okay, so now let us see which are the words. Now let us find the cluster words which are telling about the poem. Let us see. First is scared. Next, can you see when is the person scared? Please speak up.
At night. At night.
When
Nice.
he's alone. When he's alone, night.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. And demons, we can see. So we have to pick up such words. Okay. And then in this line, we can see ghost that haunt.
Haunt.
Yes. And they invade in my dreams. And the moon sends the curses. Curses we can see. And which other
Devils.
word do you find?
Devils.
Dark
Devils.
Devils.
hour. And I pray that the daylight will soon fill my home. Okay, so by picking up these words first step is to pick up the words. Okay, now these are the cluster words which are telling us about the genre of the poem. So which poem is this? Which type of poem is this? Dear educators, please reply. Please reply. Which type of poem? Is it based on nature, or is it a sonnet, or is it, what do you understand? At the simple, what is the simple meaning you are getting out of this poem?
It's based on nature, I guess.
Is it giving some horror if we read? Renu ma'am?
It's horror only.
It is
Huh,
horror
yeah.
only. So I'm reading again. I get scared at night when I am alone, when the world is quiet and the demons do roam, when that ghost that haunt me invade my dreams, and the moon sends the curses that ride upon its beams. Oh, to find peace in this dark hour, but only devils I find have come to devour. I pray that the daylight will soon fill my home, for I get scared at night when I am alone. So, do you, after reading this poem, don't we get some scary feeling?
Yes, ma'am.
Huh.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So that is what we have to make our students understand the title, and then we have to make them understand the genre of the poem. So here we have come to know that this poem is having, it is a horror poem, and it is telling about the poet when the poet is alone. So poet is feeling very scared. Okay. Now we move to the next poem. This is the poem which everybody is acquainted with, isn't it? Okay.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Which are the words which are telling you about the poem, which are qualifying the poem?
Daffodils. The
Daffodils,
title only,
first
ma'am.
word, yes. It means they are associated flowers,
With flowers. Yes.
yes. And what color of daffodils are they?
Yellow.
Golden color.
Yellow,
Golden.
yellow.
Golden color, yes. So what is the movement? Which are the verbs telling us about the movement?
Fluttering and
Fluttering,
dancing.
dancing.
Fluttering, dancing,
Fluttering, dancing,
Continuous,
yes.
shining.
continuous,
Tossing,
Continuous,
tossing.
yes. So as the star that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way. Okay, so where are they? How many the poet saw?
10,000.
10,000.
10,000 at a
10,000.
glance, yes. And tossing their heads in sprightly dance. Right. So if I read this one, all of you, I will request you for a minute, all of you close your eyes. And this is also a type of method. Everybody close your eyes, and I'm going to read it and feel the, the beauty of the poem. Okay. I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high over vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze, continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way. They stretched in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not but be gay in such a jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. Okay, so that much I can see with my slide. Yes, dear. What did you feel when I was reading?
We felt as though we were in that
could
particular
imagine.
place watching them and feel and imagine ourselves as though we are
We
close
could
to
imagine.
nature.
We could imagine, yes, very good. We could imagine that we
We
are
could
near the
imagine.
lake, isn't it?
Right.
And we
As
are
if we
feeling,
are close to those. Huh?
we could smell the, so these are different things we have to teach to the students. First of all, the plain meaning. Plain meaning is like as soon as we talk of the flowers, so different types of flowers we can imagine. Okay. Now the other thing is that what are the particular words, the cluster words we have seen, and the cluster words are telling us that this is which type of poem? Earlier one was the horror poem. This is,
Nature poem.
yes, correct.
Nature.
This is the, yes, nature poem. It is
Nature
based on
based.
the nature, yes. And then we can see the verbs, and we can pick out the different words which are the adjectives which are describing the beauty of the daffodils. All those things we must pick up, and then we have to talk about the, we can say, after discussing all this, children will start finding out what happens when we start with paraphrase. So they just listen to one line and all that. As soon as we put them to work, they can almost start finding. So they start taking the interest in the poem. So that is the main, purpose behind this work of finding out. Then we can talk of the different types of, we can say, what are the poetic devices, what is the expression, how it is used. So I'm moving to the next slide and telling you all about this. Yes. So here we are. First, I have told you about students read the title. Let us summarize whatever we have done. Reflection, second point. Students note 3 immediate thoughts from the title. As soon as we talked about the poem, we saw that what all things are coming in our brain. Then genre analysis. Which type of poem is this? That is being analyzed. And the students identified the genre and its key elements. Then let us see about the application. Students connect elements to deepen genres understanding. And then along with these 4 steps of poetry analysis, follow these. Okay. So these are, we can say, word clusters. This we have picked up right now, dear teachers. Students search for word clusters or reoccurring them, mood and tone, identification. Okay, students determine the mood and to the then all when we were reading this poem, should we go to the last slide? Yes. Please tell me what is the mood of the poet? How is the mood of the poet in this poem? All are there with me?
Yeah, he's enjoying the nature.
yes,
He's feeling
ma'am.
happy being with nature,
Yes,
being with
he is enjoying.
Reminiscing about the old
Can say he's
old
in a
days.
very happy mood, very relaxed mood when he is near, he's strolling around
close
the
to nature.
beach. Yes, near the
I
bank.
think in the beginning he was not very happy.
He
In
was
the
not,
beginning,
he was not
he is
that
like,
happy, but he became happy when he went there, isn't it?
yes,
In the
when
company of
he saw
people.
suddenly he saw a
Earlier he was, yes, Kanchan, ma'am,
crowd,
here he was, I wandered lonely. He was not
right?
in a way, he was alone. But when he came there and he started enjoying the company of daffodils, his mind was refreshed. Yes. And then he started describing about their dancing and all that. Yes, ma'am. Kanchan, ma'am, thank you. Yes.
Thank you. I liked actually the way, because this way students would their thinking would be really stirred up, because we are getting, we are compelled to think when you're asking such questions. That means as a teacher also we can compel our students and activate their thinking process. So this
That
is
is
really
what,
a good idea.
see, this is recently we attended one webinar where we were told all this, that cluster words are very important. And we have to ask the children to imagine different things out of it. What is the mood and what is the tone the writer is writing about? See, in senior classes, we
Yes,
are
ma'am.
telling them all about paraphrasing and the poetic devices and all that, that we are doing. But if we do this in this manner, even the junior students, classes 6 to 8, they will be very much interested in all doing and, learning. Otherwise, they say that poetry is very difficult to understand. This is the first step they are saying. So if we indulge them in such things, they will definitely take interest, isn't it, ma'am? I hope everybody is with me.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Excuse
Yes,
me, just
ma'am.
one second.
So for the junior students, we can follow these simple, these steps. Now, this is our first duty to read the poem aloud. Let the children listen and where is the stress, how is the rhythm, what the poet is trying to speak in which mood, that how the teacher is speaking, that affects a lot. Have students listen to you, because listening is equally important for the children. See, all like reading, writing, and another part of learning of the students is listening. So they must listen to it. Then identify and define words like we have identified right now in front of you. And which are the words, which are the which are the words describing about the poem, and which are the words which, by reading which, we come to know about the mood of the poet and all that. Read the poem aloud again. So twice you do. Then you can summarize also and discuss the poem. Children, they when you ask them, they give such answers which you have never expected, isn't it? Like Kanchan ma'am told me that he was very
Right,
sad in the beginning. Yes, ma'am. And then he became very happy after that. ask a student for their experiences. Now, after doing the poem, we have to ask them what did they experience through the poem. And of course, the junior students, we can tell them to memorize the poem also and recite the poem in the class. Yeah. Now for the senior students, that is important. For how to create interest of the students in the poetry, isn't it? So that can be created when we ask them to express their feelings through poetry. So if we are reading like we have taught daffodils or the other poem which we have read, scared, so we can ask them to write a small piece of poetry at their own also, isn't it? So that they their expressions of their feelings are also coming out. It's not that they cannot write. Once you people try in the classes, I have tried this, that's why I'm telling. So they within 5 minutes they are able to create the poem. And I can tell you one step, very simple step. Pictures, of course, we show and we make the students write. Okay, I'm showing you this picture. What do you think over this picture? And you write down and all that. But there is another way of writing poem which you can tell your students also. Like if we write the last words, like supposing we are writing fun, sun, rhyming words, sun, done, bun. So create a poem, write the lines before them. Okay, so I had great fun when whatever you feel like writing about the sun, and I had my bun, like that. So very small.
Looking at the rising sun.
Yes, ma'am.
Looking at the rising sun.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. So
Yeah,
that
we can
way-
make the second line that.
second line. Yes, ma'am.
Looking at the rising sun can be the second line.
Yes. Third line. Who will give me? Anybody from here?
Could you please repeat the first two lines?
First line I said I was having great
Right.
fun. Second, ma'am gave. Yes, ma'am.
Looking at the rising sun.
Looking at
When
the
all
rising
my
sun.
work was done.
Yes.
When all my work was done.
Yes, Amrita ma'am. Thank you very much. When all my work was done. So this is very simple. See, you created very quickly. So this is a fun for the children, when you give them activity. Like sometime, when, supposing in 2-3 classes earlier I had given, so they had written very nice poems based on such words also. So this is one of the tricks where children, learn. And when they are experiencing all this, then we can provide them some tools, some poetic devices also that they can include in their poems. Yes, ma'am. So exploring diverse voices, we have to, for the senior students, we have to do this also. Exposing seniors to a diverse range of poets from different backgrounds. This is very important for us to tell the senior students, 11th, 12th, 9th, 10th, that there are, these poems, how they are written, at what time they were written, and what was prevalent at the time of the poet or the writer that time. Okay, the poet or the poetess, what they were feeling. So they are expressing in their poems also. Are you agreeing with me, dear educators?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
Kanchan,
Absolutely.
example you can quote. Kanchan ma'am?
Yes. To your previous session, I had a point. You said no, give them rhyming words or ask them to write the rhyming words first and then the lines. So I take a similar task. I teach them limerick. Limerick is 5-line poem in which first two lines are rhyming. Then like AA, the rhyming scheme is AA, BB, and then again A. So I tell them limerick is a funny poem, humorous poem, or nonsense poem. It has to be a nonsense poem. So it's easy to write nonsense, but then it is equally difficult also because sometimes students cannot write nonsense. They end up writing something serious
Writing
only.
something positive.
So,
Exactly, Kanchan.
yes.
Kanchan ma'am, I
Yes,
was
yes. But it
asking
has to be
another
funny.
point. Excuse me.
Yes, ma'am.
I was asking another
ma'am.
point, that can you quote some example of the time of any poet? We can say of class 12th.
A quote of any
Any
poet.
telling us about the poem. Tigers, which poem is that?
Telling
Which is telling of the time of the poet. Anybody in the group?
the title of the poem.
Yes.
Ma'am, it can be My Mother at 66 from class 12th.
Yes, that is true. But another one, the end one, where they are talking about the
Okay.
tiger. If you read,
Ma'am, then at Greenwich, My Aunt Jennifer's Tigers.
and Jennifer's
Ma'am, the
tigers,
night,
yes. If you,
the
Yes,
Night
ma'am.
of the Scorpion
yeah, if you,
by Nazim Azakil.
yes, ma'am. So if you tell them, if you read the, background of the poet, then you will come to know why that poem was written. Time is
Yes, ma'am.
expressed in the writing of the poems which they are doing. So we have to,
Yes.
senior students, we have to connect them with the, time
Time.
of, we have
Right.
to tell them the history of the poet also. That what time the poetess was going through all this herself. Then she has expressed all this here. That is very, very important. So that will exposing seniors to a diverse range of poets from different backgrounds and cultures.
I have a point here.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. I remember telling about John Brown, the poem John Brown in ICSE class 12, where Bob Dylan is an existing American poet and writer. He wrote about the American War. Once when like long ago, I don't remember the year exactly now, but it was in the early 19th century, I think.
Right.
About the it's a big war. So he was, deeply saddened by the war, and hence he had written this poem. It was kind of an anti-war poem, like he was against wars, against soldiers fighting wars. So yes, relating it and
What
telling about really works because I can
like
remember
we
very well.
talk of poem, it is okay. If we talk of even of the prose also, we find that they are expressing their own times. That is true, ma'am. So what my idea is that this is our moral duty to connect our students with their backgrounds so that they understand the piece of art properly. In 5 minutes, my meeting is going to be over. Please connect again with the same link. Okay. So now understanding poetic devices. This is very important because we have to make our students pass an exam also. So poet has used
Hello, ma'am.
different poetic devices that we have to definitely find out from the poem and tell them. So discover the power of metaphors, similes, and imagery in poetry, and how
I'm
these
sorry to interrupt you.
devices enhance the emotional impact of the written word. That is, when they are using, then they are making it more effective, isn't it? So uncover the secrets behind rhythm and rhyme schemes.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, if you don't mind, please, can you take a poem from any class 10? Because we don't deal class 11 and 12. If you tell from any class 10 poem, that will be helpful for us. If you don't mind, if you can say something from
Class 10th.
class 10 poems, CBSE, that is NCERT poem, any poem kind of thing.
NCERT poem. Okay.
Because class 12, we don't deal, actually, we don't have. It will be beneficial for our teachers, that's why.
Very good, ma'am. You are asking me. After this meeting, when we meet again, can I do this? After
Yes, ma'am, definitely.
this
Definitely.
meeting will be over, Soumya ma'am. So 10
Yes, ma'am.
second
Yes, ma'am.
poem I can take.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So by that time, I must talk about the poetic devices. First, we know simile. Simile, everybody knows that it is a comparison of two different things where words such as like and as are used, and metaphor. Children get confused in simile and metaphor. Okay, a comparison of two things, that is. But what do I say is metaphor is an implied simile where the thing becomes the thing to which it is compared, isn't it? Then it is a metaphor. For example, he fought like like a lion in the war. That is a simile. But he was the lion of the war. That is the metaphor. Isn't it? He himself became the lion. So that is how we have to make the children understand. Hyperbole.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am,
Hyperbole
the
is,
same way,
yes,
the
Janit
same way
ma'am?
as Shakespeare said that life is a stage.
Yes, correct, ma'am. And hyperbole is an exaggeration, that is exaggerated statement. Personification, we all know, when these human traits are given to the objects and animals, then we say it is personification. Alliteration, everybody knows, a reference to famous people, places, events, and literary works. This is allusion, ma'am, and not alliteration, sorry, allusion. And rhyme, two or more words that sound alike. This we all know. Assonance and consonants, people get little confused in this, the students. So assonance is the repetition of the vowel sound, and consonance is the repetition of the consonant sound. Okay. So then repetition, when a word is repeated several times. And onomatopoeia, words that say sounds. Any example of onomatopoeia?
Buzzing.
Splash
Buzz.
of water. Splash
Clatter,
of water.
buzzing.
Frog and the nightingale.
Rattling.
O-O-I-S.
Yes, yes. So you people are taking class 10th
Jangling, clatter.
English communicative, it means, isn't it?
Yes, yes, I have taught. Yeah, I teach also.
Okay, okay, ma'am. Okay. Okay. Next is analyzing poetic structures. Okay. Up till now, we have learned that poetic devices we have to do in the class. We have to make them write the poem and all that. Then there is another thing, that is learn to deconstruct the structure of poems. That also we have to understand which type of poem that poet is writing. Okay, including the use of stanzas, lines, breaks, and enjambment. May I know, anybody can tell about the enjambment? What is, which
Running
particular
line of poetry without using any punctuation mark.
without any punctuation mark, when till
Yes.
we can say the one sentence is going to the
Sentence
one of
continuing to the next line
yes, after
without
3
any
lines,
punctuation.
yes, it is finishing. Explore how these elements contribute to the overall meaning and impact of a poem, that we have to definitely tell them, then otherwise our work is not complete. Yes. Exploring poetic forms. We have to tell them which type of poem is this. Dive into various poetic forms such as sonnets, haikus, we all understand?
Yes, yes, ma'am. It is 8 line or 7 words with 3 lines.
Japanese poem.
It is the Japanese, yes, Japanese.
Japanese form of writing poem. Yes, yes,
With
ma'am.
7
8 words or
syllables
7
or
words
5
are there.
syllables.
7 line, yes.
Yes.
7 line. Okay, not 3. Sorry.
Yes.
7
And
line.
ballads, and understand the unique characteristics that define each form. Witness the versatility, and that is means different variety and flexibility of poetic expression. So this, and otherwise people will not come to know the main purpose of literature will not be solved if we are not telling them which type of poem it is, whether it is a sonnet or it is a ballad or the other form, elegy or the ode. Yes. Now, interpreting poetic theme. Theme also we must tell the students. Dwell into the universal themes of love, nature, and mortality that are often explored in poetry. So, we have seen in the poem Daffodils that what type of poem that is, that it is telling about the